Hi, it's Lucas here with YOGABODY, and if you're looking to lose weight, to boost your energy, to improve your digestion, and just to feel great, you go online, you start researching, and really quickly you get lost in dogma. There's the paleo people, the vegetarians, the vegans, the CrossFitters tell you have to do a WOD every day, the yoga teachers tell you have to spend 90 minutes in the studio. It all gets very confusing. And what I've learned after all these years is that there's lots of different paths to health. You can come at it from many different angles. So rather than arguing about which path is right for you, why don't we focus on what everybody agrees on? Why don't we focus on the biggest problem in our current food system, which is the elephant in the room, which is sugar. I'm talking about cookies, crackers, biscuits, bread, pasta, rice, muffins, all of this stuff, all of the sugar-laden, carb-laden foods that you find in the grocery store, but also in health food stores, also in schools and prisons and airplanes and hotels. Everywhere you look, there's sugar and carbs everywhere. Excessive carbs lead to weight gain, obviously, but it can also lead to full-blown diabetes, to heart disease, to neurodegenerative disorders, to premature aging, and really just about every bad thing you can think of is correlated with lots and lots of sugar in your diet. Here's my story. When I was in my early 20s, I had a health crisis. I woke up in the back of an ambulance and I literally got scared healthy. I got so freaked out that I changed my whole life. I started doing yoga, started eating healthy food. I became a yoga teacher. Fast forward till today, my whole trajectory of my life changed and I never added sugar in anything, never added honey or any sweeteners. In fact, I never had any of that stuff in my house. So I just assumed I had no problem with sugar whatsoever. But here's when things changed for me. An old friend of mine was visiting. We were sitting on the beach. We were having a picnic and I handed him a banana and an orange. I remember it distinctly. And he said, "Oh, I can't have any more fruit." And I said, "What do you mean you can't have any more fruit?" And he said, "I have pre-diabetes." And I was flabbergasted. This guy owns one of the most iconic health food restaurants in North America. He's been eating organic and gluten-free for as long as I can remember. He's thin, he has lots of energy. And here he was with a really serious metabolic disorder. How did this happen? Come to find out that over the years, he'd started increasing his intake of sweet fruits, of fruit juices, of starchy breads and cookies and crackers, organic stuff, natural stuff, homemade stuff, but too much. And that too much led to this metabolic problem. So what did I do? Well, I went to the pharmacy and I got a blood glucose monitor. I woke up the next morning and I pricked my finger and lo and behold, I too had the same thing. 109 was my fasting blood glucose. Nothing to freak out about for most people, but this is elevated pre-diabetic range. And for somebody like me, somebody who lives in a yoga studio, teaches yoga, eats great food all the time, it was a total fail. So I freaked out. I started researching. I got the best medical doctors, alternative health practitioners. I got them on the phone for my podcast. I read books and I dug into the literature. Really quickly, I realized a few different things. The first thing, which is the most important thing to remember, is that sugar is not bad. Your brain loves sugar. Your body loves sugar. We need sugar. The challenge is that too much becomes really bad. It goes from good to toxic very quickly. And there's a very fine line. If your body gets overloaded with sugar, suddenly you have a neurotoxin, a nerve damaging toxin, a kidney damaging toxin, and a metabolic disaster on your hands. The second thing I learned, which is really just news to most people, is that sugar, elevated sugar, is associated with pretty much every bad thing you could imagine. Cancer and heart disease, premature aging, neurodegenerative diseases, and everything else you could imagine is either correlated or even directly caused by too much sugar in your diet. Now, the last thing I learned, which is really promising, is I found dozens and dozens of examples of people turning their entire metabolism around very quickly, and they can do this simply by shifting their diet and their lifestyle. Very, very reversible, most of these conditions. And the cool thing is it doesn't take years. It usually takes weeks or months to see really, really dramatic changes. So here's my challenge to you. When I learned this information, I made some quick changes in my life. I throttled my carbs down to 1 gram of carbs per pound of ideal body weight. I fixed my sleep so that my stress hormones weren't all wonky. I added some high intensity interval training into my daily yoga routine, which just amounts to about 4 minutes of exercise per day. And really quickly, I saw some big changes. I went from about 23% body fat down to 10% body fat in my most recent DEXA scan. My digestion and sleep improved, my energy went up, my skin cleared up. I really felt a lot better, and my doctors confirm all my biomarkers are in much better shape than they were many years ago. So my challenge to you is, what if I share this program with you in a 30-day sugar detox challenge? Every day for 30 days, I'll meet you on your phone. I'll send you a live video. I'll talk to you just like we're talking here, and I'll walk you through step by step, first and foremost, how to navigate this complex carb-laden world that we live in. How do you go to the grocery store? How do you go to the restaurant? How do you fly on an airplane? What are some simple recipes you can do at home? I'll share with you stretches and exercises and breathing practices that will really help to restore endocrine balance and metabolic balance in your body. The next thing is I'll give you a really simple formula for eating. No dogma, no complicated food combining or anything like that. Just a really simple macro formula for not what to eat, but how to eat. How to approach food from a really global standpoint. And it's nothing restrictive or complex. There's no gross green smoothies or sitting on the toilet for 12 hours. None of that stuff. It's really very simple, but the results are dramatic. And last but not least, I'll share with you community. We're going to get hundreds of people together from around the world, and we'll do this together. And that collective energy really helps you to stay on track. Don't let the simplicity of this program confuse you. It'll very likely be one of the most transformative experiences you've ever had. The format is simple. We use Instagram because it's easy. You just open up your phone and hit play. You'll have direct access to me. Send me messages, ask me questions, send me photos of your food. We'll go back and forth and we'll grow together as a group. Thanks so much for your interest in the sugar detox. I'm excited to share this information with you. I know it'll have a huge, huge impact on your health, and I'm excited to get started.